Hi guys, high five. Thank you so much for giving an extraordinary response to the first video, and thank you so much for showing the support. So, if someone has not watched the first one, I will suggest to watch the first podcast. And I'm so sorry for the audio issue for the first podcast, it was an experiment. Thank you for sticking around. To quickly introducing me, I'm a Masters of Civil Engineering from University of California, Berkeley. Did my masters in project management and now working as a project engineer here in Las Vegas and some of the projects like Formula One racetrack and some of the megalithic projects. The guest we have is Aniket Bahadure, the same person we had in first podcast. Introducing Aniket, he is an transportation engineer from University of California, Berkeley, same as mine. This guy has served as inspiration because this guy has seen it all. His bachelor is from Government College of Engineering Chandrapur, which is quite a deserted part in India. And coming from such a backward background and having so many limited options, it is an inspiration that he made his career out of nowhere, and he serves as a inspiration to everyone who is looking forward to be in US or who is still in the early phases. So in this podcast we discussed like what happens after you get an admit from a university and what are the steps that you take. Thank you, and without wasting any time, let's jump to the podcast. Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you, man?
How's the weekend?
The weekend was not very fun actually because there was nothing to do because there is raining and the hailstorm, sorry, storm Hilary is coming through the Nevada, so it's rainy. So no plans for weekends. It was boring.
Yeah, yeah, pretty weird weather for.
Yeah, for Nevada especially.
So yeah, let's get started where we left.
Exactly.
And you want to say thank you to the audience. I see there are various fans.
Yeah, I would like to extend a thank you for our audience who saw our last podcast, and it it was actually an overwhelming response from our audience because the targeted views that we actually expected were only 25, and it was around 8 times that. So thank you very much for uh, thank you very much everyone who saw our video. So this is our next podcast.
So yeah, let's start. So now, if you're done the application process,
Mhm.
what happens after that?
So once you are done with the application process, the only thing which is very painful is to wait for the acceptance or the rejection. And the waiting time actually varies from 1 month to 3 months. In my case, Berkeley, I remember I submitted my application to Berkeley on 14th of December 2021, and I got my acceptance on 9th March 2022. So it took around 2 3 months. And in the meantime, if you think that they are taking too much time, you can also mail them and can get to know at what phase of your application are you in their system.
You have to wait for your email stuff, right?
Yes.
So you constantly check your mails, like if you are getting some letters or some university would be like, hey, the decision is made, but then you have to access the portal again and go through that.
Yes, actually, it also, yeah, you actually got one good point. It's not the emails that you have to go to the portal like every day, because I used to go to my portal every day, knowing that there was not any single notification, but I used to go to the portal every day.
Yeah, like for any documents that has need to be reviewed, or sometimes they are like transcripts are not properly sent, or this is not in proper format, and then you have that window, but that you don't get in that email notifications.
Yes, so Sometimes they get your documents, but like in my case, um, I think they needed the grade conversion, because in my Indian system the grade point is out on a scale of 0 to, it's on a scale of 0 to 10, but here it's 0 to 4. So they wanted me to send an equivalent of my transcripts. So I actually send them by an agency, US agency, which actually converts these grade points into, from on a scale of 0 to 10 to 0 to 4. So some universities had their criteria. They want transcripts or English proficiency certificates like IELTS or TOEFL. So it varies from university to university.
Uh, so, what do you expect to see in the letter? Like, what's the main content of letter besides rejection and admits?
Main content of letter, in rejection letter, they actually appreciate you, that appreciate your work, that you took your time, money, and send them your application. So they appreciate that. And but in it, that's what in is in the rejection letter.
I think rejections are basically when there is a very large pool applying, and
Mm-hmm.
it depends upon your portfolio
Mm-hmm.
if you get rejects or admits.
Mm-hmm.
And then admit letters would have some scholarship or some extra stuff, like if you're missing that, because once they take you in, they would lower you with any means to come to their university.
Mm-hmm.
So contents would be like we are number one, or we have this research going on, or that thing going on, so that they just catch your attention.
Yeah. So to further add point to your statement, Berkeley did this thing because Berkeley was very renowned in their field. So uh, in their admits, they actually mentioned what is the start date, and they extended the warm uh, gratitude that they are.
Yeah, but then it also depends case to case, because then my cohort had scholarship thing. We had an additional paragraph written like, do for your excellent this thing we are offering you a scholarship that you can come in.
Yeah, so that actually varies from person to person, because in my acceptance letter there was not mention of any
But
scholarship.
yeah, then besides Berkeley, I had University of Southern California offering scholarship, Columbia University.
Mm-hmm.
Scholarship is like they would write a paragraph or they would send you a different letter. So
Mm-hmm.
University of Southern California sent a whole different letter,
Mm-hmm.
and it was per semester. So uh, either there are two things.
Mm-hmm.
Firstly, they will have it included and not included, and this was not on application. This was purely on the profile. So
Yeah.
nothing GRE
Yes. Yes.
or all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing you have to look out. And uh, I've seen many people, they apply multiple courses in single university.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if that person receives a reject in his first thing, and he has more to application for different programs,
Mm-hmm.
will he have a reject or he can get an admit?
It will depend upon the acceptance criteria for that specific program. What's the acceptance rate, say for example in civil engineering.
But like this is not for civil. This is like more of the CS person does this. So they would apply for business analytical,
Mm-hmm.
then data analytics,
Mm-hmm.
and then AI or ML,
Mm-hmm.
and then they receive like AI and ML is now way too competitive, so they will receive a reject.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what his chances to get into data or business? Because thinking in a way, the admit procedure is centralized
Mm-hmm.
until it reaches the thing. So basically, explaining to the audience, when you apply, it goes to a single portal
Mm-hmm.
and it channels down through it. So then whatever your scores are, GRE, TOEFL, they're
Mhm.
just criteria. So in US, the admission process works in a way when they will take a pool of numbers. So like suppose for a XXXYZ program, 1,000 people apply. That's
Mhm.
the pool. Then they will average their GRE score, their GPA,
Mhm.
and then they will just cut off who didn't make the average.
Exactly.
Then they will go for the TOEFL. And after doing this steps, when you reach the final selection, like out of 1,000, you start refining everything. You go till top 100.
Mhm.
Then your statement of purposes, the l- previous video stuff
Mhm.
we talked, that comes into play. So the question I think is like he might receive reject for his another two applications
Mhm.
because he didn't like for getting first reject he this means his profile or whatever his marks or GPA didn't pass the average pool.
Exactly.
That doesn't mean he's less intelligent or he is not capable, but that is like the average was too high.
Mhm.
Like that is totally randomized or totally luck based.
Mhm.
So you could be from a tier 3 college and that year's tier 1 or you or any top university grads
Mhm.
apply in large number. So your average gets pulled away.
Exactly.
So th- what's your thought about that?
So yeah, the things that you have mentioned is absolutely truth, and I don't think I have different views from it. So if a person has applied for like for three courses in same university, if he gets rejected from two courses, then I think he should not feel bad and should wait for the third decision, and then only she should make his or decision.
But there have been various cases like they receive rejects and then they have an admit from the same university. So I think it's totally luck based, but then if you are a fan of probability or statistics,
Mhm.
then it's the odds are against you. Then, but the chances to make in are also fair enough.
I completely agree to that. It varies from university. Ambitious, as we mentioned in our previous podcast, ambitious university, moderate, and safe universities. So safe universities might have more chances. That student might have more chances to get accepted into a safe university, but in the ambitious university, he has to make the final cut.
Now, if he receives admits,
Hmm.
like out of 10, he receives admits in 6 and 7 universities.
Hmm.
This is a good number, like 70 and 60% acceptance rate for his profile.
Hmm.
Out of that 6 or 7 universities, how would he choose which university he wants to go?
So if I take my example, I received acceptance from University of California, Berkeley for transportation engineering and Columbia University for construction management. So if you see the statistics, you will have to see first you have to look through the placement criteria of these universities. What is the placement rate? How many of these students have been placed after their graduation? So if you see Berkeley, that is one case.
But I think this is more Indian approach about placement.
Hmm.
This would be like tech, where is your industry based? So like after masters, person could go into research or in industry. You
Hmm.
want to check your alums are in industry or which industry is hiring them or which company is hiring them. Like placement, there is no such thing as placement in US.
Hmm.
Like it's not like the our home country based where company would come into
Hmm.
your campuses. There is nothing like this. So yeah, that's like
Yeah, sorry, I thought from the Indian perspective. I did not consider the US perspective, to which I will agree to your statement, because while I was in Berkeley, I applied, like, apart from the career fairs that we had, I applied to a lot of companies. I think the number reached up to thousand job applications, and out of those, I think I received 20 interviews, and out of those 20 interviews, only two were successfully I were transitioned into a job offer letter. So
Yeah.
it's really very hard to get a job here.
Job market is different, and that we can discuss in
Hmm.
another podcast if you want.
Yes, sure.
But then, if you want to do the criteria, then for me, I had an Excel sheet built up in which I went with rankings,
Hmm.
then the privilege or the history of the university.
Hmm.
Secondly, the professor or research work, if I want to do it, is
Hmm.
it aligning my goals? Thirdly, the industrial alumni. If I
Hmm.
want to go to industry, or if someone is doing PhD or research, is something happening over there, or
Hmm.
is there any research going on to that thing? And then climate, cost of living, tuition,
Hmm.
attendance, fees, all these things. So
So I would say that as once someone from India or from the world comes to US for their masters, they either can go uh, pursue a PhD or they can go to a job.
like if someone does masters,
Hmm.
then he has lots of opportunity. He can either do an MBA,
Hmm.
PhD, masters research.
Hmm.
But this, like, deciding criteria, if you are in your home country,
Hmm.
then just narrow it down to if it's the university doing your research, are you having the job opportunities or the industry based over there.
Hmm.
So like for computer segment, Silicon Valley is based in the Bay Area, so
Exactly.
that would be the best thing to be in the tech world.
Yes.
If you are in construction, then you are Texas, New York, and California as the hotspots for the mega projects.
Hmm.
So for semiconductors and chip making, it's again Texas.
Tech. Yeah. I was going to say Bay Area.
Chip making is in Texas, so the
Oh, okay.
manufacturing side and design and innovation side, anything innovation and design side for any industry in engineering field is in Silicon Valley itself.
Hmm.
So any startup you want to work in, it's in the Silicon Valley. And then uh, considering in Silicon Valley, there are like only two top tier schools, which is Stanford and Berkeley,
Yes.
and then there are like San Jose State and all that universities. But then you have, if you have a chance to graduate from some of the tier one or the world ranking universities, then no brainers.
Hmm.
So like for me, if you have your list like ambitious, moderate, and this, and if you receive an admit from an ambitious university,
Hmm.
which you had decided before applying, then it should be no brainer. You should just go to the university.
Yes, to which will I will agree because ambitious universities acceptance rate is one of the minimum in the US, and if you are uh, get get accepted into one of those universities, I would highly insist you to go in that universities because it will be very beneficial for your career.
So for our stats, our batch 2022,
Hmm.
the stats were 2,500 students applied for a whole Masters of Civil. Masters of Civil has six divisions, and they only take 250 grad students.
Yes.
And so out of 2,500, 250 grad students is just 10% of the population.
Yes.
So that's the stats.
Yes, for 2022, for civil, for all of the six sub branches, each one of them has only 10% chance. So it's like out of 100
10
pool, only 10 and only 10 got
and
selected.
Berkeley engineering official, you can have this on net.
Hmm.
So like official data is 8%. So that
Yes.
was that year it was higher than the average.
Yes.
So that's the thing. Like if you have an admit from your dream university,
Hmm.
you're looking, just go for it.
Just go for it.
Now, what are the documents like after admit?
Hmm.
What what are the things he's looking to come to US?
So first of all, after you get an admit, the first thing you want to procure or the email they will send you is to get an I-20 as soon as possible. So I-20 actually describes your they it has a very special number on left hand side, which is service number. So which will be which will be important in the further documents as well. And apart from that, it has your program start date, end date, and the financial that is required by the university for 1 year.
So like I-20 is like kind of important document. Then you got the CVS thing,
Yes.
and to get I-20, I think you need to require,
Yeah, you need to provide some financial background of yourself
and
with
that can be anything. Banks,
bank balance statement, loan sanction letter, or anything. So
and
mostly loan sanction letter and bank balance statement are the two things that are provided by the
stock
students.
options can be also thing. Which any fund that can be liquidated
Liquidated, yes.
is you can show. Then you have stock options. You can take it from a relative
Mm-hmm.
to just show the thing. That's, and they just care if you are able to pay the money after you get the admit.
Exactly.
Then you have to just prove that way. Uh, about the aids, I think so. After you receive admits,
Mm-hmm.
there are various private organizations that provide aids if you are not able to reach that financial goal. So
Yes.
like government and non-government institutes, both of them support higher education.
Yeah, as far as I know, uh, the state where I belong from, which is Maharashtra, government provides some scholarships for students to go and pursue a degree in the foreign country wherever it can be, but
Well,
it has also some criteria.
I think central government also provides.
Central government also has that scheme.
All central government has, so there are lots, like there is Jawaharlal Nehru education scheme. Then you get Swami Vivekanand thing. You have Fulbrights.
Fulbright scholarship,
Then you have
and Mahindra and Tata scholarships as well.
Mahindra, Tata Sons, Ambani
Reliance.
School, Reliance, which is for Cornell.
Yeah, yeah.
So then it depends upon the university you're going into or the
Mm-hmm.
fund which is available. But Mahindra and Tata and all the government things, they apply for each and every university. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so there are, like, finance is not a main stigma that comes into play when you're doing foreign education, because many people think, "Okay, we don't have that much money
Yes.
to study abroad." But these days the finance is so easily available. Like for loans also, you have a Credila, which offers you pre-approved loans.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are so many institutes, like not just Credila, but there are so many institutes.
Mm-hmm.
You should just take advantage of them.
And I would also add one point to it. I think Union Bank of India also provides a collateral free loan up to 40 lakhs. I don't know. I have read somewhere from a specified list of universities. So if you get into one of those universities, you can have a collateral free loan up to 40 lakhs.
But I think that depends upon the schemes that are in stable now.
Yes. So my point being that for that loan, you don't have to provide a collateral. So that was the
Yeah,
point.
if you just Google it,
Hmm.
you could have something coming up.
Might be.
uh, Visa processes.
So visa processes, once you get your I-20, after you show your financial proof, then you have to go to the US website, when you have to fill up your DS-160 form.
And I think students fall under F1 visa.
Yes.
So for our visa, if you are doing a STEM program, which
Mm-hmm.
is science, technology, engineering, and maths,
Mm-hmm.
we have a 3 years of OPT.
Yes.
But for non-STEM, it's 1.5 year of OPT. So basically, OPT and CPT are, OPT is optional practical training,
Mm-hmm.
CPT is curriculum practical training.
exactly.
So your course length, if it is of 2 years,
Hmm.
then you can use a CPT, which can be of 6 months, which is like your summer internship or your winter internship, which is just an internship you can do on your visa working legally.
Exactly.
And then there is OPT, which is optional practical training, which is 3 years you get a working visa. It
Hmm.
doesn't require any sponsorship. So
Yes.
it's 1 year, and then it extends. Then
It's
you,
like 1 year of OPT and 2 years of STEM OPT.
yeah. So then you have to file an extension.
Yeah, and also one thing that CPT can be extended from 6 months to 1 year also,
Okay.
depending upon the company if they are going to extend the CPT.
So this so you all students apply under F1 visa, but
Mm-hmm.
then if you are on exchange programs
Mm-hmm.
or only for a short duration, then your visa status changes to L1 or
J1.
J1.
Yes.
J1 is another common which is used by exchange students.
Exchange students.
But then J1 cannot be working.
Yes.
So J1 do not have a CPT or OPT.
Or they don't have the like privilege to stay,
Yeah, they cannot overstay.
overstay,
So J1 is just for educational purpose or just for visiting
visiting.
scholars or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So then check, like for Berkeley, the biggest disadvantage or the biggest thing to concern, the programs which are available are only for 1 year.
Yes, exactly. The master's program are means Berkeley gives you a choice to take a master program of 1 year or 2 year, depending upon your choice. But most of the students that came to Berkeley,
I think so. It depends upon either you're taking a professional course or a research
researched.
track.
Yes.
So research can take you till 18 months.
Mm-hmm.
It translates into 2 years. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but if you are not ready to do research work or not interested in industrial research and scientific research, then you can opt the 18 months thing, and then you have to just complete your 9 months or 12 months thing
Mm-hmm.
to get the thing, get the
To
education.
get your master's.
And then you have to complete the credits as they require.
Yeah. So for 1 year, I think Berkeley has
20,
24 credits to
23,
24,
20,
like one per semester, 12 credits.
yeah, 24, yeah, yeah. So then the biggest thing is that you are picking up 12 credits, and like universities which offer 2 year masters, they have the limit to 8 and 10 credits per semester. So
Yes.
then you are picking up less education stress.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be also deciding criteria if the number of credits can be lowered, because you have to pick up 12 credits to be a full-time student.
Exactly.
Otherwise your visa would be disqualified or
Dismissed. Yeah.
dismissed. And like Purdue or University of Michigan,
Mm-hmm.
they offer 8 credits. So that means you can take two or three courses, like three credits, three courses,
Mm-hmm.
or two subjects of 4 credits,
Mm-hmm.
and you're easy to go for the semester.
Yes, so it varies where you want to, if you want to pursue 1 year masters, which is
With a fast
of,
track masters,
yeah.
and you are too much fast tracked into the stuff,
Mm-hmm.
or you want to take it slow paced.
Yeah, so disadvantage is that for a 1 year master's course, you cannot utilize your CPT.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the main
but
thing.
then if you use your CPT,
Mm-hmm.
and then if you are if you are if you want to stay more and get your H1 and all that stuff done,
Mm-hmm.
you cannot have the lottery reapplied.
Yeah.
So for OPT, you get three lottery chances if you directly use OPT.
Mm-hmm.
But if you use CPT, then you get two lottery chances.
Yes, so that is one like advantages and pros and cons of
So like
having, yeah,
it depends upon you if you just want to do your masters and get some experience and go.
back to your home country.
Yeah, but if you want to be like get an H1 and then potentially a green card
Hmm.
and citizenship, then you have to consider the CBD and OPD thing also.
Yes.
Yeah, then I think uh, then there is like after you get your visa, then there is flight tickets, packing the stuff, and saying goodbyes.
Yeah, so I would say saying goodbye is the most hard part in
I
the
think I
whole
think
journey.
I think flight tickets majorly every airline offers student discounts.
Yes.
Just look for them. Uh, get a direct flight. Like don't book, don't go for the price because
Hmm.
if you are having a 35 hours,
Yes,
what
I can speak on behalf of that. So I took the ANA Airlines, which was from Delhi to San Francisco, which, and it has a layover of, you won't believe, 17 hours of layover in Tokyo, I think the Tokyo. So yes, so those 17 hours were like some of the worst 17 hours of my life. So don't, so if
like yeah, like don't save money on airline tickets.
yes,
Like just get your comfort first.
yes.
So if a flight is ranging between 21 to 25 hours,
Hmm.
it's a good flight
Yes.
because then you are not having too much layover time to done, and because you're changing six time zones
Hmm.
from India to US,
Hmm.
you need to accumulatize the thing, and this time you're spending in travel is just worsening your condition.
Exactly.
So don't be like I'm finding a cheap ticket or something like that. Just
Hmm.
book a flight with the shortest duration,
Duration.
and because it's one time thing,
Hmm.
because you book a master's flight for one way,
Hmm.
so then it makes sense to be
Yes, to
in
fly in a good uh,
in a sound condition.
sound conditions, right?
For packing up, I think just don't overpack
Hmm.
with the food and all that stuff,
Hmm.
because then here the potentially the Indian community is quite strong.
Exactly.
So wherever you will go, you'll find a supermarket or a
Or I would suggest, when I arrived in Berkeley, so I arrived like quite early, I think say 3 weeks before this program start date. So what I used to do is I used to search the Facebook Marketplace. I would highly insist to make an account, or sorry, not make an account. Go to Facebook Marketplace and search.
like for furniture it's okay, but for packing up the people just bring over food. I'm telling if like it's okay your flight is offering 50 kgs
Hmm.
or 60 kgs whatever, but you get the same stuff here. So
Hmm.
it's not logical to be you just ramping up with non-essential things like people bring sugar, salt, pulses,
Hmm.
and all that stuff, but you get the same thing here in a normal grocery store.
Yeah, you can get all these things. So just do, I would say, do your research before where you are going and what are the amenities they have or they in their surroundings, and then
Yeah.
and only
I
pack.
think so. The packing should be smartly done. So in US, for clothing, the
Hmm.
normal clothes are way too cheap. So
Hmm.
don't bring your daily wears
Hmm.
like t-shirts and all that, because then you can get here for way too cheaper prices.
Yes.
For things like suits, which
Hmm.
you will require for business interviews or formal dinners or meetings,
Hmm.
get that stuff. Or if you have a traditional Indian wear,
Hmm.
get that stuff, which is really an rare thing.
Rare thing, and you won't find it
So
here.
like suits are quite expensive.
Hmm.
I would suggest if you are a master's or a business student, get two sets of suits.
Hmm.
So that really helps because you have a career fair where you have to wear a suit, or you have a informal in lunch cons
Mm-hmm.
or an interview.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to have a 2 3 pack suits for any formal events,
Mm-hmm.
and you will get that way too cheaper in India if it is hand stitched also,
Yes.
because here the minimum is $1,000, which is like $1 lakh in India.
Yeah.
So just use your brains and pack with uh, intelligence. Like I see people ramming up Haldiram and
Yes.
all
Lot of
that
snacks.
all that nonsense, but you get the same stuff here.
Yes.
I know the price is little ramped up,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't make sense to you have the 50 kilos liberal thing to bring.
Mm-hmm.
So just bring it carefully.
Yes.
Like don't get like for kitchen utensils, I will suggest get the specialized utensils like cooker or something which is not available here, but pans,
Mm-hmm.
pots,
Mm-hmm.
you get it way too cheaper. Like you get here for $5 6 7 $8 $10 spoons and all that stuff.
Exactly.
Plates,
Yes.
you get it you get a plate here for $1.
Exactly.
You don't get a $1 plate in India.
Mm-hmm.
The minimum plate is $2, like 200 rupees, which
Mm-hmm.
starts. So like bottles, like all that stuff. Don't don't be fooled. Just get the things, like just do a cost analysis. Like don't don't pack your stuff with
So in short, don't overpack with the things that you don't require here.
like
Just
do a smart packing.
yes,
Like don't buy the stuff that like
you can find here.
yeah, because you are naturally going to a developed country,
Mm-hmm.
so there is no scarcity of things. So
Yes.
don't think like you're going somewhere, you are in the middle of desert or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to a best one of the best countries. Maybe it be US, UK, Australia, uh,
Or any country.
any country, but you're gonna find the daily stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But just use your common sense. Like
Exactly.
just and yeah, I think then then the chapter after landing to US, the chapter of the US life and things you have to be prepared begins.
So
That I think is
we have a
next.
topic for our next podcast. Will be topic for our next podcast.
Yeah, I think thank you, Aniket. It was a wonderful 2 episode series.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, Ish. It was nice talking to you as always.
And yeah, I think we will have something in future, but not soon. That
Yes. So for now, this is the I would say end of the master's program podcast. So that's it.